Hi guys, Haydn here from the Portrait Guru, and in today's video I'm going to share how I created this portrait drawing from start, middle to finish that you can follow along at home with my narration. Let's get into it. Start by drawing a foundation to the piece. So I start every portrait drawing like this. So I draw the cranium, then I draw a horizontal and then a vertical line through that circle. I'm drawing pretty light pressure on my page, and then I map out where the eyes are going to sit, where the nose and then the mouth, and also where the ears are going to sit as well. The vertical line is on a bit of an angle. See, there's a bit of a tilt to that face there. I turn my image upside down, which I actually do for all of my drawings. I really do recommend you trying this out as well. I then begin to draw more of the details to the face, so I'm looking at the placement of the facial features like the eyes, the nose to the mouth, so I'm really getting to the details at this point. I'm using a coloured pencil here, and if you don't have a coloured pencil you can always use 2H or HB pencil. I then turn my image upside down once again, just so I can see more of those mistakes of the piece. If you want to get better at drawing portraits, I really do recommend this video in the top right. And then turn it the right way up, and then start by doing the details with my brush pen. I'll put a link in the description below to all the materials that I'm using. I always seem to start off all of my portrait drawings with the left eye, but I begin to draw more of the details there, so I'm looking at the shadows and where the light and the darks are within those facial features, and then look at the shadow to the nose and also the right eye. I'm using a combination of both brush pen and also coloured pencil, so I'm using blue, yellow and green. So I'm using the yellow for the light part of the drawing and also the face, and also green just to add a bit more interest to the piece. One side of the pen is more of a brush and the other side is used for drawing those details. I wanted to use the red only for the lips. I then use the other side of the brush pen for the hair, and I'm being quite gestural and expressive with the hair. All different sorts of directions with the hair. I use a colour pencil for the background. I'm continuing to use that brush pen and also the coloured pencils. I'm looking at those big shapes within the whole of the piece there. So you can see the darkest areas comes from the side of that nose, the hair itself, and also around the eyes as well. Keep looking back at the reference photograph and also your drawing, and then go into the details more and more as you go along. So you start the drawing by doing the foundations to the piece and pressing quite lightly on the page, and then you continue to add more details as the drawing goes on. See, I've turned my image upside down once again, and now I'm using mainly the coloured pencil around most of those details and using the brush pen to go over the darker areas of the piece. Just using those 3 or 4 main colours, and I recommend you doing the same as well, so limit your colour palette. You can see it's taking shape now, which is great. I wasn't too pleased with the placement of the mouth. I thought it was a bit wrong, but when we get to the Photoshop part of this video, I actually am going to change that element there. Making good progress. I'm using the red actually for parts of the hair, just add a bit of variation to the piece, and now we're coming up to the end of the drawing stage and using Posca pens just to add some highlights. I then scan the drawing into Adobe Photoshop and then draw an outline around the reference photograph, just so I can analyse where I went wrong and the elements of my piece where I need to move the facial features. So like I said before, I wasn't too happy with the placement of the mouth. I should have changed it within my drawing, but here we are. I'm looking at the outline that I created and my drawing, and then reposition the nose and also the mouth. I'm using the clone stamp tool, which basically replicates the marks on your page, and you can just use it as a brush. I really do highly recommend that tool. I want to make the darks a bit darker and also the lights a little bit lighter within the piece. I do have a danger within my own art to make the darks too dark, so I'm conscious of this. I then use the camera raw filter within Photoshop just to change things like the saturation, the colours, and just to make it a bit more pleasing on the eye. I then use the brush tool and go around those dark areas and also add some more details to the overall piece as well. I turn my image black and white just to see if there is enough contrast within the whole piece, and I can see there by doing that there's not enough contrast between the lights and the darks. I then use a grain brush throughout the piece there just to make it a bit more textured in its look and feel. I then flip the image horizontally, and this allows you or me to see any mistakes or glaring mistakes within my artwork. And I can see that I'm really not happy with the side of that hair there, and also the neck, as it seems to just go into this weird sort of angular shape. I'm trying to add a bit of background to the piece there and add some highlights to the hair, just so it separates the hair from the neck and also the body. Now we're coming up to the end of the editing process, and here it was before and here it is after. And I do highly recommend you checking out this video coming up.